Ladley calling me a she-devil in the next room in reply to this very voice. But when I got to the top of the stairs, it was only Mr. Howell, who had brought his visitor to the flood district, and on getting her splashed with the muddy water, had taken her to my house for a towel and a cake of soap. I lighted the lamp in the hall, and Mr. Howell introduced the girl. She was a pretty girl, slim and young, and she had taken her wetting good-naturedly. "I know we are intruders, Mrs. Pitman," she said, holding out her hand, "especially now when you're in trouble." "I've told Miss Harvey a little," Mr. Howell said, "and I promised to show her Peter, but he's not here." I think I had known it was my sister's child from the moment I lighted the lamp. There was something of Alma in her, not Alma's hardness or haughtiness, but Alma's dark blue eyes with black lashes, and Alma's nose. Alma was always the beauty of the family. What with the day's excitement and seeing Alma's child like this in my house, I felt things going round and clutched at the stair rail. Mr. Howell caught me. "Why, Mrs. Pitman," he said, "what's the matter?" I got myself in hand in a moment and smiled at the girl. "Nothing at all," I said. "Indigestion, most likely. Too much tea the last day or two, and not enough solid food. I've been too anxious to eat." Lida, for she was that to me at once, although I had never seen her before, Lida was all sympathy and sweetness. She actually asked me to go with her to a restaurant and have a real dinner. I could imagine Alma had she known, but I excused myself. "I have to cook something for Mr. Reynolds," I said, "and I'm better now, anyhow, thank you. Mr. Howell, may I speak to you for a moment?" He followed me along the back hall, which was dusk. "I have remembered something that I had forgotten, Mr. Howell," I said. "On Sunday morning the Ladleys had a visitor." "Yes?" "They had very few visitors." "I see." "I did not see him, but I heard his voice." Mr. Howell did not move, but I fancied he drew his breath in quickly. "It sounded It was not by any chance you?" "I? A newspaper man who goes to bed at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, up and about at 10?" "I didn't say what time it was," I said sharply. But at that moment Lida called from the front hall. "I think I hear Peter," she said. "He is shut in somewhere, whining." We went forward at once. She was right. Peter was scratching at the door of Mr. Ladley's room, although I had left the door closed and Peter in the hall. I let him out, and he crawled to me on 3 legs, whimpering. Mr. Howell bent over him and felt the fourth. "Poor little beast," he said. "His leg is broken." He made a splint for the dog, and with Lida helping, they put him to bed in a clothes basket in my upstairs kitchen. It was easy to see how things lay with Mr. Howell. He was all eyes for her. He made excuses to touch her hand or her arm, little caressing touches that made her color heighten. And with it all there was a sort of hopelessness in his manner, as if he knew how far the girl was out of his reach. Knowing Alma and her pride, I knew better than they how hopeless it was. I was not so sure about Lida. I wondered if she was in love with the boy, or only in love with love. She was very young, as I had been. God help her if, like me, she sacrificed everything to discover too late that she was only in love with love. End of chapter 4.